విశాఖలో జరుగుతున్న CII సదస్సులో అరుణ్ జైట్లీ ప్రసంగిస్తున్నారు. లైవ్ లో చూద్దాం.
Are today assembled was more unequal on account of several reasons, and that legitimately had raised issues of serious concern. At that stage, we had all examined how the state could be helped, and I'm glad 2.5 years after the state was created, when I stand before, step by step, governments both at the center and in the state, and with due credit going to the large body of investors and the people of Andhra Pradesh, are marching forward and reaching and targeting that area where in less than 2.5 years the state can comfortably boast or claim to be the easiest place to do business in India. Our official rankings show that if you invest in Andhra Pradesh, it becomes the easiest place to do business in India. In a record time of 2.5 years, the central government has enabled a large number of central institutions to be set up in the state. Because most of those institutions which existed in the undivided state went over to the other part. Various promises were made, both in legislation and otherwise. And surely and steadily we are one after the other moving in the direction of fulfilling each one of them. As far as the state's future potential is concerned, we at the center in India have a great vested interest in the progress of this state. I foresee for the next few years Andhra Pradesh growing at least 4 to 5% ahead of the national GDP. And if that were to happen, with the contribution of all of us assembled here, I think even in what appears to be a period of global slowdown, we'll all be able to contribute to India's growth process by having some high growth states like Andhra Pradesh itself. Andhra Pradesh has a huge potential. It promises to be on the east coast, the most vibrant state with a coastal economy. It's targeting manufacturing, it's targeting services, and hopefully once the Polavaram project fully gets commissioned, it will also be an important agricultural powerhouse as far as India is concerned. We are assembled here at a stage where the world itself is facing serious challenges. It's struggling to get out of the slowdown process. The future appears to be uncertain. There is also a rising tendency, more particularly amongst the developed world, of falling back on protectionism. How do we in India deal with this situation? Over the last few years, I think what has kept India going at reasonable amongst the fastest growing rates in the world are a series of factors. And I think the most important factor is that there is a changed attitude and vision as far as the people of India are concerned. Never in Indian history have we seen a situation where the people of India come out and openly become so increasingly aspirational that they start supporting and demanding reforms and change in an Indian society. As a result of this, a series of policy changes across the country both by the centre and several state governments have taken place. Today, the environment for policy formulation in India has become far more positive than it ever was. Notwithstanding this wave of protectionism elsewhere in the world, there is not even a slightest discussion of those tendencies as far as India is concerned. We have become one of the most transparent, one of the most open economies in the world, which almost in sector after sector invites foreign investment. 90% of the investment that we get into India is through the automatic route. That shows the level of transparency which has also and ease which has come into the system. We are investing in a very big way in different areas of infrastructure. We are investing in a very big way in rural India, which was otherwise the more unprivileged part of India. And it is these investments which have kept the growth process going. And I think what is very significant, in the last 1 year that has gone by, amongst the various changes and reforms which have taken place, there are 3 very important directional changes which have taken place. The first is what we call the JAN, where J stands for the Janadhan accounts, A stands for Aadhaar and M for the mobile phones. That gives you so much data. It makes financial inclusion far easier. It makes targeting of subsidies and state support to those who are entitled to it, to the exclusion of others, far easier. For decades, we've spoken in terms of rationalization of state support and subsidies. Here, for the first time, you have now an institutional legislative mechanism in place where this is actually taking place, resulting in very large savings which can otherwise now be directed towards the benefit of the less privileged people in India. The second most important change which has taken place is the passage by the Indian Parliament and the state legislatures of the Constitution Amendment enabling the goods and services tax. That itself enables India to become one large market, allow a free flow of goods and services across the country, have only one taxation system in the country, eliminate multiple assessments, eliminate taxes on taxes, and therefore make business processes simpler, introduce a more efficient tax system, eliminate all forms of discretions and corruptions, and probably check in evasion and bring more revenue to the coffers as far as the centre and the state governments are concerned. I'm particularly glad that almost all state governments have actively cooperated in making this a reality. Most of the contentious issues have been sorted out in the GST Council, which is a forum of where you can actually see deliberative democracy in action, and those are being very actively now at the final stages of